Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Jeff with the Teach Better team. I have one of our amazing Teach Better ambassadors, Colissa, with me this morning to help us get your day going right. This is your daily drop-in for Wednesday, December, is it the 16th right now?
It is the 16th.
Wow, we are halfway through. We're excited to be here. I hope you're excited to get up and get to do what you get to do today. If you're watching, make sure you drop in the comments. Let us know where you're at, both geographically on what platform, what's going on today. Ask some questions. We'll be talking with Colissa about what her life is like right now in the classroom and what she's going through, taking your questions if you have them, having some fun. I've got Dave Schmittou coming about halfway through to do the Mastermind Rewind as well. So we got a lot going on. Stick around. Let us know what's going on. If you're listening on a podcast, make sure you subscribe and then join us live one time as well. We'll be back in just a couple seconds here. All right, here we are. How are you this morning,
Good
Colissa?
morning. I am wonderful, doing wonderful.
You
Great.
are at school, it appears.
Yes, I am in the classroom by myself.
Already been on Zoom meetings
All
this
around.
morning.
Excuse me?
You've already been on Zoom meetings this morning.
Yes, I already had the first class out the way and several more before the day is over with.
I love it. I love it. Just already into it. So, as people are popping in here, we'll say hi. If you're watching, if you're in here, make sure you drop in the comments, say what's going on, say hello, let us know where you're at. Calissa, while people are jumping in, some people that are going to be watching may not be familiar with you, or may not have the privilege of being connected to you just yet. So, would you mind sharing a little bit about yourself and what you do, where you're at, all that good?
Well, let's see. Colissa Brogden. I am an English language arts instructor at Diamond Oaks Career Campuses in Cincinnati for the Great Oaks Career Centers in Cincinnati, Ohio. This is I want to say, I believe this is year 11 with them, but it's 20 years in education. Yeah, 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah, 20 years. Oh my goodness. Um,
You said
yeah,
that. You're like, oh, that's 20 years.
yeah, gotta think about that for a minute. So yeah, just yeah, English is which has changed like a lot as well. But yeah, I do quite a lot here for Great Oaks. We're a school of technology, so our students are juniors and seniors. They come from their different home schools and literally work on their career paths. So they get their academics either in the morning or the afternoon, and then they go into their labs and work on being welders, cosmetologists, nurses, digital arts and design. And right now we're on an A and B schedule where the juniors are here 2 days a week and the seniors are here 2 days a week, but they're not in their academic classrooms. They are remote for academics. So
Gotcha.
so far this school year.
Gotcha. I know we have been fortunate enough to do a little bit of work with your schools and such just an incredible staff down there. So, so you're on an A/B schedule right now, but a lot of remote. Is that how you've been all year? Have you had to transition back and forth like a lot, or have you guys been pretty consistent? Or
we began the year with the A and B schedule.
okay.
Right before Thanksgiving break, we sent everyone back home and we just did virtual. Kind of extended the schedule a little bit because right now with academics we see them through Zoom like maybe 20 minutes a Zoom session, which is not enough. And then we brought them back in to their A and B schedule, and it looks like in January they might be coming back in 5 days, but academics is probably going to see them maybe once or twice during the week.
Okay.
We have no idea. Around us, other school districts are just keeping the students remote. So really do not know. That changes every, I might walk out this door today. It changes again. So
you might get an email while we're talking.
We might get an email while we're talking. Yeah.
We've seen a lot of that just all throughout Ohio has been a lot of the counties that were primarily full, 5 days in person, are fully remote now, or in the hybrids have bounced a lot and stuff. So it's been a journey for sure, and we're only about halfway through at this point. Good morning to Samantha. Samantha's over on YouTube. Good to see you over there. Patty, good to see you this morning. Megan's here. Love starting my day with Colissa and Jeff, she says. So good to see you, Megan. Megan, our ambassador program coordinator. So you're familiar with her, aren't you?
Yes, a lot. I love them. I love them for bringing us all together. I think our dean, my dean of instruction, we don't call our principals, we call them deans, literally pushed me into becoming way involved with the Teach Better team, and I'm gonna use the word addicted. Now I have to get my dose of the Teach Better team as much as possible each day. So yeah, Megan is.
I'm all right with you being addicted. That's fine with me. So what I'm not okay with is you having to be pushed in. Tell me about. So let's hear that story. I don't know if I know that story. Like,
well, it's not. I wouldn't say a push. I think. I don't know. It's all one day is 2019 seems so far away now.
It really does.
It does seem like it was so far away, but it really was about this time last year, right before the Teach Better Team conference, and something popped up in the email about this thing called the grid method. I didn't pay attention to it because it had the word math in front of it. I'm English. Don't have anything to do with math. I'm like, okay, sounds great. You guys have fun with it.
So she originally pushed it out as maybe something good for the math department to look at that point.
Right. Okay. So our teaching and learning specialist was like, hey, don't you want to go to this conference with us? I'm like, they really don't send us to conferences unless it's specifically for our content area. And because it had math in front of it, I let it go by for like 2 months. And then finally it was like, I need someone from English to go. So I pushed it to the dean, and she said, I really think you would benefit from this. So I looked up the grid method, went to you guys' website. I said, this sounds great. It sounds like something I would do. The ideal of working towards mastery, student choice, this type of thing. I just couldn't wrap my head around it being for English. So I got to see it in action. So I had to talk to several people to convince them to let me go to this conference. Like, I got to go. They were like, I don't see English. I said, neither do I, but that doesn't mean I can't find a way to do something with it. And so the dean that was like, you need to go. They need someone like you there. You need to go. I said, okay, pay for everything and I'm there, which a very beautiful hotel. I wanted to stay in the hotel room. You guys should have came to the hotel room. The hotel room was great. And then
where'd you stay? Let's give the hotel a shout out.
It was a Hilton. I remember that. And
okay.
It overlooked the falls. It was just so beautiful. And
that's a really nice hotel.
I signed up for all the sessions, and I wanted to. It's like we literally should have allowed me to go to every single session that was there. Literally every single.
We'd have to go a really long time. That'd be a lot of days.
I know, but
think about that
for me, because I feed off those things. I had my iPad. I had notebooks. I'm sending emails to everyone who could not be there, and I'm stopping people. Like, Ray doesn't remember me stopping her. I think I stopped Ray several times to get information, and she was so helpful with information. I remember who else was it? It was I know in Chad's session, he was trying to give us the information because he was really the reason I was there. And I'm writing everything down, and I'm taking pictures of his slideshow. And there was someone there I guess she was so unhappy about how she was doing the grid. And we stayed on one point almost his entire session. And I had to jump in. I said, can we please go back to the last thing you said so I can really understand it? And he was just like, send me an email or a text and I'll answer you. I will talk to you personally. And later at like whatever bar or whatever we were at, he came up to our table personally just for the Oaks and gave us our information. And I'm like, I'm so Teach Better Team was like the most awesome like group of people I ever met in my life. And that's probably why I just feel so connected, because it was like one of those things he wanted to make sure I got the information so I could wrap my head around it. And then later, a few months later, he was back in the district and did it again. And it's like, cool. I can reach out to any of you guys, and it's like an instant. You guys are going to respond and try to help out. And I'm just sold now, just completely sold.
I'm so glad you came. Now I'm just reminiscing in my head about that conference, which does feel so long away. But it was just over a year ago. Samantha over on YouTube dropped and said, "Find a way, every teacher's mantra." I love that. Speaking of Ray's here. She hasn't necessarily said hello, but she did drop some emojis with stars in her eyes and then some laughing emojis when we were talking about making it so that everyone can go to every session. Dave Schmittou's dropping in saying, looking for that Hilton sponsorships, which, hey, let's see what we can do. Joe Gonzalez is here. Yay. Good morning, ambassadors, he says. So good to see you. If you're listening on the podcast right now, you really need to jump into this live and join us live for these daily drop-ins. It's a lot more fun when you're in the comments and we can talk back and forth with you. So I love that. I love that originally it was kind of like, I'm not sure. Then you saw, then you really did use Find a Way. You pushed to get yourself there. You advocated for yourself. I know that Ray is just beaming right now, because that's one of her biggest things, just teachers advocating for themselves. And I love that you were able to join us. Yeah. And kudos to Chad for making sure he got to you. But also kudos for you to be like, hey, can we like stop for a second? Because I'm not getting what I need. I love that. Yeah. And so I love it. So do you run grids in your class right now? Do you run them all? Do you run a few? Do you do a hybrid of it?
Here's where it's going to get like, okay, she did all of that, but all right. So I came back with the idea with the grids, because we had the math teachers and the science teachers introducing the grid and doing the grids. We have 2 math teachers who are like excellent with the grids, and we have a science teacher, he's no longer with us, who was doing wonderful with the grids. Pandemic hit. And so I started creating all these wonderful grids. Units are great. And then I was told, for me, and I'm department head, well, since we're not going to be face-to-face, to introduce something like that new to the students, it'll probably be difficult. So I've been sliding it in little bits and pieces. What I have done, though, is, and Rebecca is actually, I'm looking at my monitor over here, she's venting right now, but one of my mentees, who was a sub in our building and is now full-time in another district, I worked with her on some grids, and she just ran with it. English language arts, she ran with it. And literally her first evaluation using the grid with one of the English units that we worked on scored her accomplished. And so kind of working through other English teachers, I'm using the grid full, like completely, and it's going pretty well. We're doing it here with my students. I'm doing bits and pieces of it, and I'm hoping, and I'm waiting for when we could get them back face to face, so I can literally introduce it and do it the correct way. So
that's not uncommon even prior to COVID, where teachers weren't quite ready to make that full blown shift. Your students better than anyone, right? And doing that, that's actually one of our courses on the academy that Tiffany Ott did, is actually bite-sized mastery, and that was meant for that. It's little ways you can introduce the concepts, right? And doing that. But I love that you're doing that. I love that you've shared it and spreading like that. I gotta give a shout. Well, first off, Dave says Ray's probably in a meeting again. She is forever multitasking and always working. That's so true. And then Patty, give a little shout out to Dave and Ray. If you weren't on last night, Dave and Ray were live last night talking about Dave Schmittou's first course with us over at the Academy, which is Leading by Empowering. And Patty says, Dave and Ray, I had registered for the leadership course when it first dropped. You both inspired last night to start it today. I'm all logged in and ready to go after this. I love that, Patty. Yeah. That is awesome. Joe, I missed it. I'm not sure what you're guilty here as well, but I figured you're probably guilty. I think that's accurate all the time for you, buddy. All right, but Dave brought up a great question that I was also wondering. And Dave says, I want to hear the story on Colissa's Twitter handle, First Lady. So it's story time now, if you don't mind.
Oh,
I've wondered too. I'm like, okay, what's the 1994? What's the First Lady? Are they connected, or is it two separate things?
it's not. I don't even think it's a connection with it. I don't even think I'm the one who came up with the handle. My ex-husband used to call me the First Lady. He's a football coach, and so he would always introduce me at the first coaches meeting as the First Lady. So that's
Okay.
what the players were called. So that became like every social media handle. And 1994 is the year I graduated from high school, so I'm telling my age. So it's really no.
Well, you already let us know you've been teaching for 20 years, so it's all good. It's cool.
You tell them it's really no more than that. And then just trying to, and actually being a first lady just kind of just embodies that I have to stay above the line a lot of times. So when I'm on social media, I just gotta make sure that I stay above that line. So I gotta keep it that way. That's about it.
That's a good story.
No one's asked me about the handles before.
No one has, really?
No.
Why has it pop up before? Well, Dave, I'm glad you asked. Because I love it, and that's funny. I can totally see that. Like, this is my wife, First Lady, right? Because
That's right, the first lady.
everything anyway. So I totally get it. I love it. We got more people jumping on, just screaming your name. It looks like.
I see. Hey.
Oh, that's Nikki. Good morning, Nikki. I see Matt,
Hi, Nikki.
Andrea also just wanted to scream your name with exclamation points. So Andrea, good to see you as well. And just hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff, too.
So loved right now. Just really a lot of love there.
Yeah.
So Nikki's just popping in for a few minutes between meetings.
Yeah.
Jumping in here, and
I saw what someone said the English, the ELA, and the social studies grid are hard. Yeah, because we're not. I think it works better with math. As I said before, math and science could be so linear, and I want to say we can scaffold it, but it's one of those. It's I don't know how to put it, but I think someone mentioned, which had me work with it, is knowing what we want that level 3 to be, what we want that end product to be, and then build those skills around it is what actually helped out with building those grids. So it's definitely still a work in progress with building those type of grids. So
I agree. And I think you said it earlier, alluded to it earlier. A lot of times you have to see it, either see it in action or see ideas and stuff like that. Which I'm going to talk about a little bit later about our Gifted Grid campaign that we're doing right now, because educationblueprint.org, one of the things we're doing is trying to really build those grids so you have those options there. Lisa, I want to say, if you need help, please reach out. Jeff, Jeff at teachbetter.com. I'd be happy to jump on and work with you on a grid. But also, first off, Ray says she is between meetings, but then she says we should build a grid live together. So, Lisa, maybe there's a live feed in there where you and Ray can just build a grid together. That could be a really fun live stream as well. Andrea also said, I'd love to talk shop about ELA grids. So
yes, I would love
if you are struggling with that, Andrea is awesome. She's been a grid guru for a while, so that's definitely an option as well. So Lisa, please reach out. All of us on the team are just our first name at teachbetter.com. So you can reach out to any of us, or obviously where we're at on social media, but we'd love to help you and collaborate. We do that a lot, pretty much all the time. So please don't hesitate. Reach out to us. So Dave is saying that Colissa is an incredible ambassador. She represents so well. I love how she is celebrating steps and not expecting to have it all figured out right away. Better every day.
Yes.
I love it. With that said, if you don't mind, Colissa, I'm going to go ahead and just bring him in so he can say that to you in person, because Dave's waiting on me right now.
I do it.
What's going on, Dave?
Hey, Dave.
I'd be honest with you. I'm not waiting on you, Jeff. I just wanted to be on the screen with Colissa. That's all it
I
was about.
figured as much.
I wanted to be right next to the first lady. This is
Oh,
incredible.
there you. Well, Dave, look, I so appreciate that. How are you?
I'm doing great right now. This is amazing.
I
It's like
love
a dream
it.
come true.
I love it. Dave, you're awesome.
So, I have to apologize. Colissa, I have to apologize. I know we talked before we went live, and I said, hey, Dave's coming on, and she said, please, please, please get me off before you bring Dave on. And I broke that promise. I know it's difficult to deal with him sometimes, but I just thought he deserved to hang out with you for a few minutes. If we could.
And the truth is, I said, Jeff, I would only come on with you today if I could be on with Colissa. So
I know. And so I had to really – I was in this weird gray area trying to find a line there. So, Colissa, I apologize. I had to use you to get Dave to come on with me.
There we go. Okay, it's whatever we need to do, right? It's, this year –
Well, I think Samantha said it earlier. Find a way. That's the teacher's mantra, right?
Find a way.
Lisa says, thanks, folks. I will reach out. It's awesome.
Right,
I hope you do. Ray says, sign me up. So when Ray says stuff like that, I assume she's talking about anything I want to throw at her. So, Dave, we have some brainstorming to do.
Yes.
I don't remember where we were at this point. So, Dave, did the story... Did it satisfy your curiosity? Was it what you were expecting?
I had no idea.
Where were you at?
I thought she was kind of hinting at what was to come in 4 years or something. I wasn't quite sure.
Well,
it says first lady, not president.
Well, she's got big plans,
Well, you know what? I will tell you this. I always have big plans. I was talking to, and Jeff, you've met my assistant dean, Amy Eaker. You've met her. And it was literally the one pushing for me.
I always forget that it's Amy. She is so awesome.
She is definitely. She's definitely awesome.
I haven't seen her in a long time. Can you give her a high five or elbow bump for me?
We're doing the elbow.
Good. Give me an elbow bump from me. I would
do the elbow bump for you. And we are always talking about, because as far as I'm concerned, 10 years ago, I should have been out of the classroom doing the type of things that I like doing with you guys, the sharing of information, best practices, helping teachers, to improve and even especially for myself, because me helping other people is how I help me, if that makes sense. So, you're asking me about, the first lady part. Yeah, it started off as I'm not gonna say it as a joke. It's just that, my ex-husband, that was his thing. Like, guys, I'm Coach Brogden and this is my wife, the first lady of football. And then it's like, when social media exploded, I'm like, what's username? Man, he said, put first lady. I'm like, okay, yeah, now I need some numbers after of it. Then 94 would go after it. And I'm like, no one ever inquired about that. But after a minute, you think about, maybe some goals and stuff down the line. Eventually it'll have the Dr. Brogden that goes with it. I've been Professor Brogden. I teach on the college level and everything, but there are plenty of goals, I'll be on the payroll for you guys eventually. So that's a goal.
Liking these goals.
Yeah, that's a goal. But,
Colissa, where do you teach at the collegiate level? Where are you at? And are you doing that right now with everything too, or no?
Not this semester because of COVID. I took off. I have a 5-year-old, so when she started school and stuff,
adorable, by the way. Just in case anybody was wondering.
Thank you. She cried today, knowing that she had to Zoom again. So it's because she's not that type of person. But so the last couple of years just took a couple of semesters off. But yeah, you see their East Campus. They have several satellite campuses, and I love it. Did it for like 10 years. On the college level, and I love it. Love it. It's kind of the same type of atmosphere with being with the Teach Better team, getting those other ideas to kind of change your mindset with working with your students and different types of students. It's a different set of students that you're working with. So, yeah.
I love it. So much going on. So much awesomeness.
Sign you up, what, Dave?
Sign me up to take a course with you. I'm in.
Oh, we did. I got
you.
So
Dave's gonna come take your course so that he can make his course better.
Oh, that's exactly right.
I gotta learn from Dave. I take a lot of what Dave what Dave says. Dave, that attitude about things. I'm learning. I do. It's kind of that mellow type thing. Kind of bring me from here to kind of here. No, I got to learn from Dave. So Dave, we're going to learn from each other.
I can tell you, you were probably the first person in my 43 years of life that said the thing they want to steal from me is my attitude. I have never once heard that. So whatever vibe I'm putting out to you, I'm going to try to spread that.
You got to figure that out, Dave. Fun fact, I was also at one point in my life at the college level as an adjunct professor.
Yeah.
So anyone who knows me, try to figure that one out.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you just show up with a master's degree and they say take a couple of classes in there and
I actually showed up with nothing and they were like, eh. So I actually, a lot of people watching stuff know that I actually don't have a college degree. I'm one of the people on the team that hasn't been a teacher in the classroom, but I did teach a collegiate level. I was adjunct, so I was able to work under a tenured professor, and it was in a specialized elective in the music industry related, and I was in the music industry, so that just worked. And I do sometimes like to say that it was an interesting time for me when I look back, because all of my students actually had more higher education than I did, which made it really fun. A really cool story out of that, and then Colissa, I am going to let you go take care of your students, but a really fun thing about 5 years after I stopped teaching, I got to perform the marriage of two of my students that met in my class.
You shared that, didn't you?
I've probably shared it before. It's something I do like talking about that, because it was such a cool thing. I forced the one student was someone who was in a band that I managed, and I made him take my class because I needed one more student or they weren't going to do the class. So I made him take it because he needed an elective. He was about ready to graduate. He's like, sure. And he met his now wife. They've married for, I don't know how many years now. They have two beautiful kids.
Wow.
It's a really fun story. So,
cute little matchmaker. Look at you.
I do it. Call me Cupid.
Cupid. Oh, we'll be careful around you.
Oh man! All right. Well, I was so happy that I got to go live with you.
Well, thank you.
And spend some time with you. And I'm thinking maybe there's some, Lisa with Ray building a grid. You need to be on here live one day with Ray building a grid. I see some fun grid building lives going on here. But really appreciate you coming on. I so love. It's such an honor to have you as an ambassador and as someone who waves that Teach Better flag. I'm so happy that you're addicted. Happy.
Thank you. And Dave, thank you for dropping in with me. I appreciate it.
I'm just here to try to even virtually breathe the same air as you. That's all I'm doing. So. Thanks for letting me share your space.
You know what?
All right, Colissa, make sure that elbow bump goes to Amy. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much. Everyone, if you are not connected yet with the First Lady, make sure. I'm pretty sure we're going to decide right now, Dave. That First Lady stays because she's the First Lady of Teach Better. We're just calling it right now. It's done. It is what it's there. It's labeled. Someone put that in a graphic somewhere, and we'll make it happen. But Colissa, so appreciate you. She's like, all right, I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
All right. Well, we'll see you. Have an awesome day with your kiddos, and I'll see you in the ambassador stuff. We'll see you around social.
All right. You guys have a good one.
Right.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, that was fun.
Oh, she's amazing.
She really is. Let's keep pumping her up for a second, because you got to come in with Colissa as one of the the founding ambassadors with us. So you really then got to really, I don't know if you were connected to her prior to or not, but that group, ambassadors, you guys it's such a tight knit group that I know you've gotten to know her, obviously, by the things that you've said, clear that up. So first off, Andrea says, oh, hi, Dave.
Oh, hi, Andrea.
She also said you've had so many jobs, jack of all trades. Yeah, that's true. I haven't done a lot of stuff. But so let's talk about Colissa, just the whole experience there from your angle. And then we'll get into the rewind for sure, because I know you have limited time. But just tell me how awesome she is. I guess is all I really want you to do.
I'll talk ambassadors just in a broad sense, if that's all right, and then we'll talk Colissa. So the ambassador program, I know Megan and Andrea are both watching, so let me just shout out to those two. They are like gods in my eyes. They brought a bunch of people together, just people that were like groupies and super fans or whatever you want to call it, just people that really bought into everything Teach Better was putting out there, and brought a bunch of us together and said, hey, let's just form a community. Let's just grow. Let's inspire. And then people like Colissa are out there just, man, they just pump so much good into the world and lift me up. And that's what I so enjoyed about the initial launch of the ambassador program is it was a place to go get fed. I could just go to the ambassador Facebook group or reach out, connect, text, whatever, Vox with anybody in that ambassador group and know that I was going to be fed throughout the day. And it's not just motivation, it's inspiration, it's great ideas, it's brainstorming. That ambassador program is just, yeah.
It really is.
I can't say anything else.
The energy amongst that group and the connection that group has is so unbreakable and so powerful. It is just, it's that, I mean, that group, that whole thing is one of the proudest things that we've done as a team. And when I look at it, I'm like, I mean, did we really do it as a team? I'm pretty sure it was just Megan and Andrea. They had this, we had this like faint idea that we thought maybe it was something we could do. And Megan and Andrew were like, can we help with stuff? And we're like, well, we had this idea, but we don't really know. And they're like, got it. And they just ran with it. And I've said this many times before, like the patience and the focus to put so much time and effort in that for a year without ever being able to say much about it, share anything about it, be celebrated for it, and have to wait so long to see it come to fruition and launch and stuff is really, for me, is so incredible. Right. So Ray says, yay, ambassadors are the best. Megan says, literally the greatest group of humans ever. Such a powerful group of educators. Love our ambassadors. Nikki says, my ambassador family is my favorite non-bio family. We didn't do anything. It's our ambassadors. They are the amazing ones. That's what Andrea says. Ray sneaking a little more to come in 2021 with a yes from Megan. So I love that. If you're listening on the podcast or if you're watching here, if you go to teachbetter.com/ambassadors, you can see all of our ambassadors and connect with them and learn more about what that program is all about. So, excuse me, we're going to get into the rewind, but Ray poses a question that I want you to think very deeply about before you answer, because right now you're on with me. I can bump you off the meeting. We also have to spend time together later in which I also control the back end. So I'm just putting that out there.
So here's
Ray asked, Dave, do you enjoy being live with Jeff or me more?
So I can answer this. I'll answer it the same way she kind of put me on the spot last night and said, which of my kids is my favorite? So it depends on the time in the day. It really does. So you inspired me to go out and buy a new hat that should be arriving today, hopefully. And on it simply says, from coffee to cocktails. That is my Jeff Gargas story. When I'm with you, I get to just sit back, enjoy coffee and cocktails. When I'm with Ray, she's like digging deep into my soul and like making me just uncover things and spill truths that had never been uncovered before. So it just depends on the time. Some days I just need to sit back and relax, and some days I just need to sit back on the leather couch and let it all come out. So it depends.
When you run for office, I'd like to
you like that? That was good, wasn't it?
Because you got those political answers down, my friend.
Yeah. Well, I got my
last time someone asked me which my kids. What was that?
I already got my first lady picked out. So
you got. Last time someone asked me I have two kids, which was my favorite. It was right after I'd come downstairs after they interrupted a meeting in a bad way, and I went up and I came down and I think it was on with Ray and someone else, and they're like, everything all right? I'm like, yeah, I only have one kid now. They're like, well, they're like, which one's your favorite? I'm like, no, I threw one out, so it doesn't matter anymore. I only have one at this point. I'm like, I threw one out the door because they were just so. Anyway, I didn't actually.
I will.
We both Ray is on Team Schmittou.
One of my favorite people to ever be in a live with, though, is the Megan Deegan. You were out last week, and oh my gosh, Megan Deegan was amazing on the Brain Break. Absolutely loved hanging out.
I've been getting. I think everyone who's ever watched the Brain Break has now sent me an official cease and desist letter asking me to step down. And it's so many legal forms I have right now that I have to look through. All right, let's talk really quick because I know you only got about 10 minutes left here. Mastermind Rewind, which I love when we do these because there are just so many just deep conversations that happen in this Administrator Mastermind, which is every Tuesday from. We have one at 9 a.m. Eastern Time and one at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It's free. Go to teachbetter.com/ambassadors/mastermind to sign up for free. You'll get reminders from Dave, and you can jump in there. It's just a Zoom meeting where we get together, we share, we connect, and we tackle problems. And it's really an amazing group of educational leaders in there. And again, so many just thoughtful, thought-provoking, deep conversations, but none of which to this day add up to the intensity,
the
controversy, and just absolute enjoyment of yesterday's ambassadors yesterday's masterminds. I cannot speak this morning because you brought a really fun thing as we're entering the holiday season. One, we were all wearing ugly sweaters, or I think honestly they were all awesome sweaters, but whatever. And you had us go through a March Madness bracket of holiday movies. And there was a general vote from everyone, and then we went in breakout rooms, and then we came back, and we always go to breakout rooms. When we come back, we share. Someone from a breakout room shares what happened in there, and you made that person then pick between two to narrow it down. And eventually, we got to the heartbreaking moment where the winner was announced. I just kind of recap, but can you recap the actual journey and the what's the word I'm looking for? The heartbreak that went along the way. Who was the big upsets in the first round? Who made it? Do you remember all that? I'm putting a lot on you.
I took notes on it, but I don't even need to reference the notes because
so much that we actually had someone come to the 7:00 one just to try and redeem, and it didn't happen. I think he's out of our network forever. He's not here this morning. I think that's proof.
Yeah. So unpack. I'll just be very explicit. Sometimes in our meetings, we do these subtle things. The what we do, they do mentality of trying to model instruction or leadership practices. And the whole idea of the brackets, something that teachers can do in their classrooms and teach analysis and synthesis communication, the whole 9 yards. But that's not why we did it. We did it just to have some fun, and because I like to stir things up sometimes, and I wanted to see what would happen when we stirred things up. So yesterday. In our morning group, what do we have? 27, 28?
20, I think we're 27, 28, yeah.
Okay. Leaders from literally everywhere, all coming and descending in one place and voicing their opinions on the best holiday movies of all time. And when you talk about heartbreak and a variety of opinions, this should have been a no-brainer. The bracket was already chosen. I mean, regardless of the matchup, Chevy Chase, Clark W. Griswold should have just easily marched through at least to the semifinals or the finals, right? I mean, you figure that's Duke coming in undefeated. That's right. I mean,
that's Duke walking in undefeated, and then getting beat by
St. Mary's. In walks St. Mary's, and they come in, and the thing is, the original vote was anonymous, so it's not like people were saying, "Oh, I'm just going to disrupt things here." It was a poll, and people responded to this poll, and Christmas Vacation lost in the first round. And it was so messed up that when we look at the entire bracket, Jingle All the Way, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Arnold made it to the finals. And so there's a part of me that thinks, okay, at least these leaders felt comfortable and safe to express themselves. But I'll be honest with you, yesterday afternoon, I was panicked for the state of education in America. I'm thinking, these are the people leading America's schools. They're choosing Jingle All the Way to get to the finals. Luckily, Home Alone came through and carried a little bit of momentum, but it was interesting. And we had one leader who started the hashtag Not My Christmas Movie and was posting that throughout the day, making sure that he understood that that's not how he cast his vote and his loyalties were true. Hashtag Not My Christmas Movie was trending for a little while there because Clark Griswold not making it. I mean, it was a shocker. It was a shocker.
Andrea summed it up. She says, "What? How is that possible? Oh, that movie was rough." In the morning, it was Home Alone that pulled the title, right?
Yeah.
And then Alex comes back in the evening to try and redeem, and it gets knocked out in the Elite Eight. When did it go down in the evening?
It was early because he was still in the meeting. He walked out of the meeting after his team lost. And
then who pulled? I can't remember who won. Oh, Elf.
Yeah. In the finals of the evening, it was Elf versus the Grinch, which is understandable. That one I can at least.
For me, honestly, a Home Alone win and an Elf win, I'm okay with that. But I don't know if it was. It's not what I guessed. Ray says next week.
8 crazy nights. Got it. It's done. We finished the bracket.
It's done. Adam Chandler wins. That was fun. So, what I really want to do, that was fun. I wanted to recap that. So you touched on it, and it was fun. We had a blast. The trash talk going on in the Zoom chat was unmatched. It was hilarious. But you touched on, we do these little subtle things, and I love this when you do this. You do this so often in those masterminds where the way you run things, you're modeling ways that we can do this. And so can you share, I know you've done this a lot with when you were in your classrooms and stuff with your students. Can you kind of share your thought process behind using things like brackets and stuff? Because we did talk about that in the mastermind. That's where a lot of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, this was a weird mastermind because we didn't get into these deep conversations except for about the movies. They got deep about the movies, don't get me wrong. But I think a great takeaway from that is how you've utilized and how everyone watching and listening can utilize this type of fun activity to really build some skills within their students.
Yeah, so I've taken, Dave Burgess does a variation of this. Quinn Rollins does a variation of this. I've taken it and I put my own twist on it. I did it for a few reasons. Number one, yesterday when we're talking holiday movies, we're not talking any content whatsoever. In a classroom, you could assess your students on, you could have the constitutional amendments on there and they have to debate which ones are more important, or the presidents, or even the parts of speech or body parts, whatever you want to do. You could do a bracket and have kids debate it and argue it. We did it yesterday just so that we could find out some facts about people. Like in the evening session, one of our most loyal Teach Better family members is admitting that she's never seen Love Actually, never seen, like 9 out of the movies that we had on there, she's like, I never saw it. I never saw it. And those are things that it's heartbreaking for me, but now I've got to.
I think you meant to say previous or past members.
That's true. That's true. But we can find some things out about people. Like when somebody says that they like Rudolph better than Elf, and they explain it's because of this memory with their kids, we can then tap into people and get to know who they are a little bit better. And as a leader, doing something like this with your staff will really get you to figure out what's happening with their world, get to know them a little bit better, because if you don't know them as people, there's no way you can lead them as professionals. So it's just a great way to have some fun, bring some levity to the room, but also get to know the people you serve a little bit better.
Yeah, and then right down to the classroom level, working on those kids. Even if you did it around this, while it might not be content, they're learning how to critically think, how to defend arguments, how to have arguments without it being emotional in a sense of anger and fighting, but rather just raising a point and going through and stuff. I think there's so many skills there. So it's really fun. It was really cool. I really love how it was connected there. It was a blast. The masterminds, if you're watching, by the way, also Ray's quoting Elf over here. Santa, I know him. I love that movie. I'm not gonna lie. I was not disappointed with Elf winning. I love Christmas Vacation, but I'm also a huge Home Alone fan. So it was one of those ones where I'm like, okay, I wanted Duke to win at the start, but like, you know,
Ohio State and Duke in the finals. You're like, yeah, I could live with this. Which one did I have my money on versus which one am I loyal to?
Yeah, like I might have lost my bracket, but I'm feeling good. Now Jingle All the Way. That's like that to me is like UNC getting in there because I hate UNC. So like that's like a Tar Heels. I'm like, come on now, really?
Yeah, right.
Like I know, like whatever. He's the governor. Like, but like I mean, I would have voted more in that bracket for Predator as a Christmas movie than I did for Jingle All the Way. It's a whole other thing.
We did have a qualifying question to start off with too.
Yeah. So one participant got like a clear like whole tourney bye. They get, even though Home Alone won, like they're like, oh, trophy, and then this one just takes it anyway, right? Is that how this kind of was?
Pretty much, yeah. We set things. It's like the regular season champions, and then you had the postseason. But we already knew who the champion was going to be, and it just wasn't fair. It was like having the Lakers play in the college basketball bracket. It's just not fair. So we had the qualifier. We set it aside. Die Hard would have been the champion. We knew Die Hard was the greatest Christmas movie ever. So we kind of just packaged that, set it to the side, said we don't need to have that debate. We know it. All you had to do was verify that yes, it is indeed a Christmas movie, and then we celebrate, pass the trophy on to the next round of participants. So yeah.
Ray's asking if we can send a list of these movies out. I'm wondering, Dave, can we put in the time to take that bracket and make it nice and easy to see and put it out?
Oh, I
think we should do that, like with the results. Maybe we should put it out first, just with the list, and have people predict or fill out their own brackets over the next few days, and then next week, during our brain break, we can bring out.
We can do a second. I was just going to say a brain break.
Today during our brain break, I'm pretty sure we're doing this. I'm thinking empty brackets out, and next week we'll come back and we'll compare with what they did. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Patty says she just watched Jingle All the Way for the first time. I'm really sorry, Patty. I hope you had a drink.
The last time, Patty.
Ray says, I barely understand any of this conversation. Is basketball the orange thing people throw around?
She's saying so this Ray, because I have made fun of soccer before as the game for people that can't catch. So this kind of clarifies, going back to the original question you asked of who would I want to be sitting next to? Stuff like that, Ray, just kind of digs the hole. Just saying.
I just totally lost my train of thought, but that's fun can't catch story. Never been able to catch. Played soccer, played hockey, kicked for football for a little while, and the head coach and wide receiver were just determined to make me a wide receiver because our team didn't have any, and I was fast, whatever. And so they put me through a wide receiver camp. I'm like, sure, I'll go through. Like, it's cool. I like football. It'd be fun to do. And we're doing this drill where, like, we're actually standing behind a post, and you have to put your hands around, so there's no way you can catch with your body. You have to catch with your hand. And I'm catching a couple, but I'm dropping a lot. And this wide receiver coach is like a college kid at the time, and he's a little hot-headed. He's like just laying into me, and I'm like, dude, I'm the kicker. And he goes, oh, all right, you're cool, dude. and that was it. So I also had another one. I run this little button hook, or I was actually a quick leg out and back. I turn around, and the quarterback at the time actually ended up playing in college. Dude just had a rocket, and he throws this thing, and I literally just lean and let it go by. And the coach is like, Gargas, what? I'm like, did you see how fast he threw that? So that's how I did with football. Can't catch. Anyway, Dave, I know you got to get going. So I don't want to
brain break right now already. So
I know. I feel like I apologize for anyone who's watching and want a better context than what I bring. But you put Dave and I together, and we said it earlier. When it's me, we have the drink, we have some fun. If we wanted a deep conversation, we really should have made Ray come live with you. But that's just it's just not where we're at today. Colissa, I think, did a good job of setting it up and made it a great talk this morning. So huge thanks to her. But Dave, really appreciate you coming on. The mastermind has been such an incredible thing, and yesterday was so much fun because that's a family too now. So it was really a blast. So I really encourage you, if you have liked either anything Dave says or how he looks, if you're watching, if you listen to the podcast, if you like his voice, you need to join the mastermind. That's my only reason. It's not because you want to grow as a leader, but because you like Dave's voice. Really join the mastermind at teachbetter.com/mastermind. Follow Dave. If you can figure out how to spell Schmittou, you can catch him anywhere. But Dave, I know you got to go, so I want to let you go, brother. I appreciate you, and we will see you. I'll see you later today. We'll be live at 5 o'clock Eastern time for our brain break. And tomorrow, you've got our daily drop-in tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. You've got Kendall Sweeney from Move This World. That is going to be a fun conversation with you. That is our next to last drop-ins. They end on Friday. So, Dave, appreciate you, brother. And I'll see you later today, man. All right, brother. We'll see you.
Sounds good.
All right. Dave Schmittou, my dude. Super happy that he's here. If you are still watching, still listening, so appreciate you. I want to throw a few things that are going on with the team out at you and then let you get on with your day and have an amazing Wednesday here. I just let you know we do have tomorrow, and we have 2 more daily drop-ins. It feels like this has gone by really fast, but 2 more drop-ins. Tomorrow, Dave has Kendall Sweeney from Move This World. This is going to be a really great conversation. If you don't know, movethisworld.org. Doing some really great things at SEL. So really I think that's something you should definitely check out with Dave and Kendall tomorrow morning. And I will be hanging out with Ray on Friday morning to wrap up this series of our daily drop-ins. And it's going to be a blast. Super excited about that. We have a lot of cool stuff going on. First, if you are listening to the podcast, please hit subscribe and give us a rating and review. Really, really appreciate that. If you're watching on YouTube, if you could subscribe, that'd be awesome. Hit like. If you're watching on Twitter or here on Facebook, if you just share this and let people know that these things are going on, that we're here to support them, that'd be awesome. I want to remind you about our Gift a Grid promotion going on right now with educationblueprint.org. We touched on it earlier a little bit with Colissa. We are really pushing Gift a Grid because we really want you to share your grids in there, but really it's any resource. And the challenge is just taking one resource, something that has helped you, whether that's a worksheet, a lesson plan, a grid, a podcast, a website, a book, anything. Go over to educationblueprint.org, set up your account. It takes like 10 seconds to set up an account. It takes like a minute. I think Ray clocked it at like 43 seconds to upload and set up a resource and just share it. If you want to share 10, that's awesome, but we really love you to just do 1. This is a nonprofit that is doing great work to try and create a space where every educator, regardless of their location, situation, access, anything like that, can access every tool they need, free of charge, 100% free, and get it from anywhere, and not just get resources, but also stay up to date with all the things going on. So educationblueprint.org for that. Really hope you can help us out and join in our Gift to Grid. I also want to announce today, just launched this morning over at teachbetteracademy.com and teachbetterswag.com, 25% off if you use the code BETTERHOLIDAY, 25% off everything. So any items, any courses you want to take, Better Holiday gets you 25% off. And over on the swag site, we have 3 exclusive, special, just put together today bundles that will be going on just for this winter break. They're going to wrap up just after the start of the new year. They'll get you a nice big discount on a variety of things, including our brand new collection, which is the New Year Always Better collection, which has been put together by Ray and Joshua Stamper, doing an amazing job just designing new things for that swag site. I'm so fortunate to work with them. So teachbetteracademy.com, 25% off all courses, teachbetterswag.com, 25% off all swag, and 3 brand new bundles. Gift to Grid over at educationblueprint.com. I think I got everything. 2 more days of daily drop-in tomorrow with Dave and Kendall from Move This World, and Friday with myself and the one and only Ray Hewer. So come have some fun with us. I will see you later today at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, right back here with Dave Schmittou for our brain break. Join us. We're going to play some games. We're going to talk about that holiday movie bracket. We're going to break it down. We'll probably get into it way more than we should. We're going to have you maybe go through a whole new one with us live and see where we go from there. So I hope you join us. You can always get us at teachbetter.com. We got blog posts coming out every single day. We've got podcasts over there going on every day. And I appreciate all of you. I hope you have an amazing, amazing Wednesday. And if you need anything at all, please, please, please reach out to us anytime with anything. We'll see you at 5 o'clock tonight.